Hey everyone, I'm Eshan, and today in this short video, we'll be covering real world Solana dApp architecture. Let's get started. We'll go through the project structure of Create Solana dApp. We'll extend it by talking about front end, database, and Solana. We'll enhance and look at the features of Prisma TRPC, and we'll look at how fan stack in Create Solana dApp makes our lives easier. The current architecture of Create Solana dApp has gives us a clean modular monorepo which has program which contains all our anchor smart contracts you can develop inside those folders. Then we have src folder which neatly contains all our front end and in tailwind and tan stack. This workspace is ready with TypeScript and shared types. This is the architecture front end, which makes up the user experience, where the user signs up the transaction and puts the data on chain. The blockchain in our case is Solana, which is the source of truth, and we read the information from the chain directly. However, this can be enhanced further by introducing a database and making it production ready. Why is this important? Because when we are making some products, it is mainly for users. While working with the users, we need to make sure that the user experience is for the average Joe and not only for the person who knows about decentralization, blockchain, or any other stuff. They they might or they might not even care about decentralization or blockchain. They just want to use a product helpful to them. So we'll introduce an architecture which has three important parts, which is the front end, the blockchain, which is in our case Solana, and the database for caching. While the user flow or the developer experience remain almost the same, we have some noticeable differences where the user signs a transaction and puts the data on chain. When the transaction is confirmed, then the same data is pushed onto a database. The blockchain remains a source of truth, but the database becomes our cache from where read operations are read operations happen, which makes the user experience snappy and they don't have to wait a long time for read operations to go. This can be enhanced by making sure that the database is in sync with the blockchain state so we can add indexer or webhooks to it. How is this good, or what are the various ways it can be negative for the user? It enhances the user experience thanks to the database and time stack query. We can have periodic blockchain sync to ensure that the consistency is maintained. This is modular and scalable because everything is neatly arranged in the contract database front end. And real world architecture uses this in serious decentralized applications. While there are a lot of benefits, there are some negatives as well, which are the cons that you need indexer or polling logic, which makes it a bit tough than the traditional architecture. Blockchain database consistency must be carefully managed, and having a database introduces centralization, but it can be managed in ways like most of the data can be on blockchain where it remains there for the source of truth, and only the read operations, the analytics happen from the database. There are a lot of moving parts now, so a lot of things can go wrong and break. These are some resources. We'll go over through to the architecture of decentralized application. I have created uh, create Solana dApp. It gives us all the folders in this manner. Anchor. This generated is something I've introduced by adding Prisma. This is generated Prisma files. We have SRC folders with all the front end logic. Then this is TRPC, which I've introduced, and the counter data access has been modified a bit. Here you can see that all the logic remains the same. Right now, we are interacting with the blockchain. There are some nuances that TRPC has been introduced. So, whenever the function query, let's take this example, close mutation, on success, it gives us the transaction and it sends information to the database as well. So, in this manner, we can simultaneously make sure that the database is only updated when the transaction goes through. And in this manner, when the database is updated, you can have read operations directly from the database instead of querying the blockchain. Thank you.